I've been thinking about all these mass shootings that have been happening in America, and I just wanted to make a quick video and give my 2 cents worth on the thing. You know, I think there are too many guns in America, but I don't really think that's the problem, is what's causing uh, all these shootings. And I also think it's a problem people having all these automatic or semi automatic weapons. I don't think there's any reason to have a weapon like that. If you really wanted to have a weapon for self defense, I think a shotgun would probably be more effective, but that's kind of beside the point in terms of home defense and for personal defense. It doesn't really make sense to be walking around with an assault weapon, but I think the amount of weapons in the United States of America is a problem, and the nature of the weapons that people have access to. But I think a much bigger problem is the cultural problem and the glorification of all the violence in the media and in music and in video games. And I think so many of us are so disgusted by the direction, the way things are going in America. I am big time. The whole woke culture and the political divide and all this kind of stuff, and the massive deficit spending, and all the identity politics. It's just really really disgusting, and the drug culture and all this massive homelessness. You could go on and on and on. But the thing about the big corporations and Hollywood profiting off of young people, selling them all this basically pure shit for entertainment content in terms of video games, music, and a lot of violence in television shows and movies. I'm not really a big fan of censorship, but I'm not really a big fan of outlawing anything. I just say tax the living shit out of it. I don't really have a problem with going, if somebody wants to go out and buy a massive assault weapon with a high number of bullets in the magazine. I don't have that big of a problem. If that's what you want to do, go ahead. Just tax the living shit out of it. Put a 500% tax on it. If you want to play violent video games, all this bullshit like you know uh, Grand Theft Auto and the big shoot 'em ups, the Call of Duty shoot 'em ups. I don't even know what they have anymore. I just say anything with gun violence in it, put a 500% tax on it. If it's so important, tax the hell out of it. That's what we do with cigarettes. I'm sure they do it with alcohol. I don't know what the tax is on a bottle of booze. I know it's very high on cigarettes. Put a sin tax on it. I mean, if it's so important to imbibe that kind of trash into your body, tax the hell out of it. It's worked with cigarette smoking. It's become a very kind of not that popular of a thing to do in America now. Everything's gone to vaping. I say tax the hell out of that too. But in terms of the violence, the whole Hollywood and big tech corporations with all their hypocrisy about being so woke and so cool and so hip, and lecturing all of the rest of us on how we should how we should think, how we should behave, we are allowed to say. Why is it that Hollywood and all these big tech companies making video games are allowed to spew all this gun violence out into the minds of youth who naturally imitate what they see? Why are they allowed to do that and be so hip and so cool? Why can't they just be like cigarette companies? It's not illegal for you to turn out this crap to children. We're just going to tax the living shit out of it. We got major deficit problems, major revenue problems, major problems of all kinds. Homelessness. There's all kinds of problems that need to be dealt with. Tax the living shit out of all this violent content in video games, music, and entertainment, movies, TV, all of it, and the gun manufacturers. Tax the living shit out of them. If it's so important to have all that content and have all those guns, pay for it. And then use that money to solve some of the problems. I'm not a big tax person. I really don't believe in income tax and property tax personally that much to begin with. Why should you have to pay tax to the government to own a piece of property? You don't need to pay rent to the government. I sure as hell believe in sin taxes. I sure as hell believe Hollywood and big tech and all the music industry and everything should be paying like hell for all the destruction they caused by poisoning the minds of the youth of America, and the whole globe for that matter. You churn out all that carcinogenic shit that rots the minds of people, you should be taxed like hell for it, like a cigarette company. That's my 2 cents on the subject. I wanted to share it.